Hey there fans in Comic Land, this is Leila here from the Comic Connection with this week's comic book reviews. First up, we've got Days Missing #1, written by Phil Hester with art by Fraser Urban. In this one, Dr. Stewart, an immortal who has shepherded life on this planet for a millennia, finds himself in the middle of a deadly epidemic, trying to change the fate of the world once again. I really love the concept, sort of an omnipotent presence trying to save mankind over and over, just so that he, won't be alone. I thought it was really effective, and so was the art. It worked well for the story. It was definitely a very surprising read, and I would recommend picking it up. Next up, we've got Swordsmith Assassin #1 of 4, written by Andrew Cosby and Michael Allen Nelson, with art by Ian Harula. In this one, Toshiro Ono is a sword maker who's lost everything that he held dear, and now he's on a mission to regain his honor, find peace, and the balance, all by finding all the swords that he's ever made and retrieving them. I loved this story. It was really good, it was really compelling, touching, sad, exciting. The art wasn't anything special, but the story really made up for it. It is a definite worthwhile read. If you like sort of the whole samurai world, this is definitely one to pick up. Next up, we've got Blackest Night Superman #1 of 3, written by James Robinson with art by Eddie Burrows. In this one, Earth 2 Superman and his wife Lois rise and wreak havoc on Smallville, and their targets are Ma and Pa Kent. This is an okay story. It wasn't the greatest Blackest Night story that I've ever read, but what I particularly liked about the book was the awesome art. 2 thumbs up to Barrows. This was just an amazing looking book. If you're a Superman fan, the way that Superman is drawn is just amazing. It's definitely worthwhile to pick up for that. And certainly these are key events, I would think, into the whole Blackest Night thing. So a worthwhile pickup for that. Just not as good a story as I was hoping for. And last but not least, we've got Daredevil #500 with the main story written by Ed Brubaker and art by Michael Lark, Stefano Guidiano, and more. In this one, an inside man turns the tide, and we find out more about Master Izo and Stick. Matt confronts Owl and then drops in on a meeting between the Kingpin and the Hand, filling a promise, or a prophecy, while Lady Bullseye is left out in the cold. There was lots of stuff that played out in this book. It was a whole wrapping up of the return of the King conclusion, the Kingpin story, and it really didn't disappoint. It was really awesome. Some of the skipping through time stuff was a little jarring, but it all made sense in the end. It was typical Ed Brubaker. It was really good. It's definitely worth picking up. Now, of note, as the usual big issues like this, #500 has some other things in it. There's another story, there's a preview for Dark Reign the List Daredevil, in which Daredevil catches the attention of Norman Osborn, who puts him on a hit list and sends Hawkeye, aka Bullseye, out to kill him. It was an awesome preview. I can't wait for the issue to hit the store September 9th, so look for that. Also, there's a story called 3 Jacks by Ann Nocenti and David Aja. And in this one, it's sort of a story from Daredevil's past, where Matt fights Bullseye and meets some new friends. It's sort of a fluffy, typical Daredevil fights Bullseye kind of thing. It was okay. And then there's a pretty cool pinup gallery, and there's a Daredevil 191 reprint, which is a Frank Miller story, which is really good. Topped all off by a awesome cover gallery. So overall, I'd have to say that this is a worthwhile buy at the $4.99 US price tag. I don't think you'll be disappointed, and you should go pick it up.
Hey folks, Jim here with this week's comic book reviews. First up, it's the big one of this week, Archie #600, written by Michael Uzlan with art by Stan Goldberg and Bob Smith. And in this one, time has not been kind to the kids from Riverdale. Jughead is in a diabetic coma from years of only eating hamburgers. Betty is strung out and working the streets, and Veronica is still a bitch. Wait, no, that's just my version of Archie 600. Sorry, folks. What actually happens is, after graduation, the Riverdale gang moves on, but Archie seems unable to figure out just what he'll do for his future. But when his parents give him some money, he decides to finally pop the question to Veronica. Archie, it's been almost 70 years. What were you thinking? Veronica? Really? Come on! Anyway, not bad story, not bad art. It's actually nice to see some evolution in characters that have been pretty much stuck as eternal teens for the last almost 70 years. So I give them props for that, but other than that, I can't really recommend it unless you're a hardcore Archie fan. You're going to love it to bits. For us normal comic fans, it's just another Archie book. Next up, Transformers, All Hail Megatron #14, written by Shane McCarthy and Ilyan Emiliana Santa with art by Andy Schmidt and Andrew Griffith. And in this one, Sunstreaker's past is revealed and shows how he suffered, captured by the Machination. And there's a nice story about Galvatron returning, and putting something not quite right into plans. I actually really enjoyed this one, a lot better than Joe's last issue, and the art was fantastic. Another really good Transformers book if you're a fan.